We had a stretch of serious videos there. Time for that to end. It's time to get back to the stuff that I find funny that cracks me up. We've been submitted so many amazing runs. Honestly, I was considering just like not streaming and just making videos instead with some of these. There's so many good ones. I'm just going to compile a bunch of them all into one video for you guys to enjoy. Let's get started. This player sent me a comment actually on YouTube, and then I replied to them about recording their runs, and they emailed me this. This is the first time I've sent something to you. I've started recording my run since you answered my comment telling me to do so. I began recording immediately after the tank made a snarky comment on the first boss about the Warlock's DPS. Our run was really good. We had only 1 or 2 deaths, easily timeable. Guy decided on a 20 after the first boss and during it to threaten us that he would leave if the DPS is problematic on any boss. Then he just randomly leaves after one guy says something in another language. I don't know what it means. That tilted him to immediately leave. I have no idea. We had a short chat and the whisper after, and I stayed for the 19 because I wanted to help these guys. So in the background, we have the footage. This guy, a warrior tank, is basically upset by the Warlock's DPS. Probably hard to see, but yeah, he's not doing very well. I'm gonna tell you something. This guy is actually 3.3k or something like that. This is why you don't invite players like that to your keys. The guy's already got a 25 and 26 on these keys. He's not coming here to actually help you guys. He's not coming here to try his best. He's coming here probably for gear or some, I don't, who knows at this point. But if we wipe because of low DPS, I will leave. But they've not wiped yet. There's only 2 deaths in the key. So then the healer just snarkily replies saying, Merry Christmas to you too. I guess it's probably during Christmas when this was recorded. Then the druid says Feliz Navidad, which is this funny to me because the person who said this to me was like, I have no idea what that means. I mean, I guess it's an American thing only, right? Like I hear that constantly around the holidays, but I guess maybe if you're from Europe and you don't have a lot of Spanish speaking people around you, then maybe you've never heard it before. So then afterwards, they exchange some whispers. The guy says, I'm not boosting, sorry. And it's like, well, yes, you are, dude. You're doing a 20. You don't need it for score. That's pretty much the definition of it. Like he goes, when he learns what Dreadstalkers are and Hand of Gul'dan, then we can play. The person who said this to me is saying the timer is non-existent. Do you not respect the key holder at all? That's a great line of argument, by the way, because they almost never can respond to that positively. They, of course, don't respect the key holder. That's why they're doing this. They don't care at all. Most of them probably don't even recognize them as actual human beings. And then, of course, the guy answers as you'd expect. He goes, no, I don't respect the key holder. I only respect my time and my skill. What are you doing? What skill? You're talking about the guy, the Warlock. What does that have to do with it? If you were skilled, you'd be carrying him. You'd be happy to carry him. As the tank, you do this all the time, man. I'm just still laughing at the Feliz Navidad comment. But yeah, this kind of stuff cracks me up. This is only a taste of what's to come. Let's get on to the next one. Here we are yet again in another cop key. It's not a tall, which is surprising, but this one is honestly just so silly. So yeah, we're about to do fall 18 here. First pull, here we go. I moved the webcam and the footage so you can see what is on the screen right now. It's hard to tell because the giant donation in the middle of the screen, but they have a healer who is in shadow spec. It's just like, what? The guy goes, WTF, like if he doesn't understand why he's in the spec that he's in currently. He's actually the party leader as well. This appears to be his key. He goes, sorry with 3 R's. Then he says, is bad. Yeah, no, that is definitely bad. He just puts a sad face in the chat. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are probably sad by this. This isn't like some of the other videos we posted, though, where the guy is actually not a healer and they invited him thinking he is a healer. The guy's actually supposed to be a healer. He's just in the wrong spec right now. I don't know where he is. You can't see him. I can't see him on the footage because of the donation, but like he's not in sight anywhere. He's not playing DPS. I don't know what he's actually doing right now. He then says, I forgot to pass me for discipline. And then puts a sad face again. And then now the mage response is only is proper. He goes, question mark? What does that even mean? The rogue says, you can change the specs outside. This is 3.5 minutes into the key already. Like, we're still just waiting for this guy to walk outside and switch specs. The guy just, like, randomly types 17, though, I guess. Like, he's like, all right, this key's over, guys. I'm the wrong spec. This is actually really funny because this reminds me of a situation in BFA. A lot of you guys who've been around since then, I'm sure will know exactly what I'm talking about. We had a warrior who only had 1 weapon. Now, I'm 90% sure this guy was just actually trolling, but he basically said that he forgot to equip his 2nd weapon after switching from arms to fury, and there is no way he can fix that, even though people were basically trying to do the same thing that is going on in this group, trying to tell him to just go outside and put your weapon on. Meanwhile, though, we're 5 minutes into the key. The guy has still not done it. It looks like he's going to do it based on the chat. He's still not done it. We're 5 minutes into the key. He's back. There he is. Oh, wait, actually, still in shadow spec. Instead of shadow spec. What is he doing? Son, the guy. Okay, this guy obviously doesn't speak English. I feel bad for taking shots at him, but like, what? I mean, like, do you not understand what's being said? Like, I don't really know what's happening here. He's still just here. I mean, and cops like cracking up. Mage says you didn't swap. He goes, okay, 1 second. He just needs another couple seconds, guys. We're only gonna wait 10 minutes for this guy to switch specs. It's gonna take a while, but we still got it. Yeah, he actually comes back 6 minutes into the key, and he is now the correct spec. This absolutely is just wild. I don't know. I would love to hear from this guy what was going on in his head. Sadly, having a healer is not enough because they get to the boss. The guy doesn't like seem to know the fight very well. He dies to a bunch of obvious stuff, and then they end up wiping here. 2 wipes actually to this boss now. Tried a 3rd time, which is a valiant strategy given everything that we have had happen, and then he dies again to the same again. Commenter in chat says, at least he's consistent. Yeah, that was a very consistent run from that guy. No happy ending here. Unfortunately, the guy ends up then leaving his own key, but this cracked me up when cops sent me this and saw the guy took 6 minutes to figure out that he could respec. This one is actually a very interesting run because it's not necessarily like that funny or anything crazy going on here. It's actually a very unique mistake that you may see here and there, so it is something to learn from. So there's going to be these 2 giant circles. One of them is going to go on a player here. It is the Evoker, and he has no problem clearing the circle, but then runs back in too early and puts the circle on top of the soak, causing a wipe. Let's watch it again here in real time. We have the Evoker. He's in a fine spot. Like, nobody's done anything wrong as of right now. He runs out the mechanic. That's what you want. You just don't want them overlapping, typically because it's harder to dodge both of them. Like, you also kind of don't want them forming a wall like this, but it doesn't really matter. So he's got the mechanic, and then I guess he thinks like he needs to now go soak or something like that. I have no idea why he's moving like this, but he actually runs into one of the knockback things, and then yeah, he puts the circle on top of the soak. So theoretically nobody could soak it. Obviously, if you make this mistake on like a higher key or definitely wiping, I feel like you might have been able to get away with it. Obviously the paladin could have easily probably ran in there with bubble and done it, but now I think the true mistake comes here because the guy says wipe it. Now yeah, I mean there's a lot of health left on the boss, 32%, 13 million. I don't know, maybe the tank can't survive it anyway, but of course whenever you wipe in a pug, it's unlikely to go well. We see yeah, they're recovering from the pull, and then of course the guy who makes the mistake is going to be the one to leave, which is really embarrassing, honestly. This key obviously one of the most lenient that have ever existed in terms of timer. Here's another funny one, but just like honestly one of the most obnoxious players I have ever seen. Like if this was my key, I would probably just kick the guy and start over. It's unbelievable. I have a little bit of a bias towards Resto Druid. If you watch this channel, you will unfortunately know that fact. The guy comes out of the gate basically complaining because the UI has nobody set as a tank. I don't really even understand how this happens, but I guess as a healer this matters. And he's just like going on and on and on about, I mean like dude, we're doing a hard pack, like just stop talking. He says 4 DPSers set his mark to tank, but spelled like tons of stuff wrong, and then he goes WTF is going on, and now people are dying primarily because he's probably not healing them because he's typing, and he goes interrupt the volleys actually he says for fuck's sake. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, one of the main reasons that me and Resto Druid do not get along is because they have a extremely wide depth of utility and nobody uses it. Like they even have an actual interrupt. Of course you never see a Resto Druid take it, and then you got guys like this that are complaining about people not interrupting. He says what a troll group. Now he's still upset about the guy not being marked as a tank. Like I don't know whose fault this is. My main was a holy pally from pretty much TBC into Legion, and all these weird things where people are putting boxes over the tank, or the tank needs to be the group leader, all this stuff. I never had a single problem with it. I don't understand where this is coming from. It must be some new stuff that I never used back then or something like that, but this guy is just really freaking worked up. So yeah, the guy's gonna leave. I mean, that has got to be the most insufferable player, freaking out about something that, you know, if he actually cared more, his class would be able to help with. When I received this one in my email box, it says Symphony of Fails as the title. So I guess there's a lot of funny stuff. We immediately see some pretty good physical humor coming up right now. We're tanking the Sentinel like super close to the edge, which I mean is not necessarily an inherent problem, but it's going to create a pretty funny situation here. It's going to charge all the way over there, and then you see the Hunter is just trying to get out of the mechanic and ends up jumping off the platform to do it. Here comes Shrouding Sandstorm, gonna charge over there. Hunter like goes in there, I guess like thinks like, oh, I need to get out of this like any way possible, and then I guess disengages and doesn't realize that they're on the edge of the platform and kills themselves. This is like a super funny thing I've seen a million times over the years. We actually had somebody disengage off the platform while we were doing Mythic Lich King or whatever, heroic Lich King back in the day. Not that uncommon, but always funny. Never gonna not be funny. When I say it's not uncommon though, it's because yeah, it happens again right now. Watch this. This is crazy. 2 times. I mean, it's not even like only a few minutes into the dungeon. This time they get the spiteful on them, and I guess they're just like hyper scared. These ghosts are pretty scary. To be fair, like ghosts in real life are also scary. So like if I saw one, I would probably jump off the platform to avoid it as well. Here it comes out, just punching him. He's got them long arms, kind of piecing him up, 2-piece, and the guy just disengages off the platform again. I mean, people say like affixes are dangerous. I guess this is what they're talking about. Like the people who are so worried about affixes, like, yeah, man, if they're causing people to just suicide, then yeah, I guess they are pretty bad. People say that like people with super high mobility just kind of get impatient and just start randomly using it. So you see the guy just like dashing around and he just runs into the boss. The warrior tank is actually trying to charge into the boss, which I don't know, maybe this is going to happen more than it should, but watch, he's just kind of like standing here. They're waiting for the RP to end so they can pull the boss. And he's just like, well, I'm playing an evoker. I'm going to start having fun on this class, man. Watch this. He just starts dashing around. Gonna go just randomly dash over there for no real reason. And now he's on the other side of the boss. So instead of just like staying over there and getting ready for the fight, he just like runs right into the boss and gets hit by that big old hammer and that man in the Santa hat. Now this is like an old school problem. You're not gonna see this a lot in a key here, but they're actually gonna have a couple deaths to this fight, to this encounter here, and there's just nobody who can res them. That causes a very unique problem in the key. Another one that I think I've never actually seen before. So the evoker has died, the healer is struggling, and we are right at the end of the encounter. And at this point, there's nobody who can actually res them. So the healer and the evoker have to actually release, which is awful. Like that is a disaster in this dungeon. But as you see, we did a very strange like pulling route through this area. So they are pretty much stuck here. I don't really know what would happen here otherwise. Like it's almost like you have to come back here and clear this stuff. I guess it's I've never really died here, so I don't know exactly why these mobs are here, why they're at low health. First time they went through, they like, I mean, it's not like they did anything abnormal. I do think like this whole strategy of like not actually clearing both sides is pretty bad. I know that maybe it's faster to do it this way, but I just don't really think it's worth the potential issue that you will have if somebody does die. Basically no way for them to get there. Like those enemies are just like straight up forming a wall between them, and I guess maybe Invispot is the only way they can do it. But the tank, instead of just like backtracking and trying to fix the problem, he's just trying to tell them what to do. He goes, use the teleport lines, and that is obviously not going to help. That's just going to make it worse if anything. But ultimately, yeah, the warrior just like comes back and now probably sees that like there's all these enemies here. Kind of funny. I have never seen something like this before where like people actually die. I mean, again, it's really a symphony of fails, because if they just had one person who can res, they'd be on their way to the boss by now. But they spent a lot of time here. You see, by the time it finally gets solved, that's 11 minutes in the dungeon. This all starts when they release at around 4:20-ish. So yeah, well over 3 minutes spent wiping to this. Here's another one that you just like, I've never actually seen something like this. Like this is not even a disband. It's just a key where the guy says, I don't want to wait any longer. Apparently nobody was signing up to their 6 Blackrook holds. So the leader was just like, let's just do it with 4. Hey, I mean, why not, right? It's a 6. Actually do the entire dungeon with only 4 deaths. Obviously when there's only 4 players, the 5th player can't contribute to deaths. That's really big thinking there. But yeah, they're going to actually triple upgrade a 6 with 4 people. Not necessarily like anything crazy. I just thought this was really unique that somebody was like saying like, hey, I don't even want to wait. Let's just literally just go with 4 people. But to finish this one off, we have something that just absolutely cracked me up when I first saw it. This is a 17 Blackrook hold, and this is not something you see every day. I probably said that a ton in this video by now, but this is definitely not something you see every day. Again, I'll move the camera. You can kind of see it down on the bottom. Something weird going on here. We actually have a Blood Death Knight as well as a Bear Druid. 2 tanks in the group. In a 17, I have no idea how this happens. The person did not record anything but what was sent to me, I guess, so we don't know what like the group forming process looked like. I would have loved to have seen that too. The party frames and stuff are really hard to see, but you're gonna see that this guy is just not got a lot of health. He is just not really doing anything. I mean, he's doing right now 25,000 DPS, where even the bear tank is doing 133k DPS. This is the second pull of the dungeon. Nobody bloodlusted, by the way, at this point. Don't worry about that. Fortified week. We're gonna go ahead and inspect the guy, and we're gonna see some absolute craziness. Like, what is this? The guy's got a 241 trinket on. Did you catch that? I don't even know what that is. Essence of Gossamer. I gotta look it up. It's a time walking piece, I guess. It's from a boss from Wrath of the Lich Kings. The guy's wearing a time walking piece of gear. I guess, like, is 415, is that the highest level green? Yeah, Dreambound. So he's got like the full greens on, and then he's also got a 411 trinket, Valor Medal of the First War, which I guess is another time walking piece. I have no idea. Is there not trinkets you can buy in there? There used to be in season 2, and there used to be trinkets. But this guy's basically like a fresh character. I just don't know how this guy is in this key. Why is he in a 17? Why is he a blood DK? Maybe the weirdest part is you probably can't see it because it's so small, but the monk says, no, we won't make it. Let's leave. Now that guy's from Ragnaros, and so is the blood DK. Yeah, you see there, Epidemi Ragnaros. So the two of them are from the same realm. I had to look the guy up, and I see the first thing I'm like, is this a real guild? It says unknown guild, and then when you go on there, there's like nothing. Yeah, okay, but I mean, the dude's literally only done 2 keys total. Wasn't even the week that he did keys on the tyrannical week, and the footage is from Fortified Storming. Oh, but maybe we just cracked it. This guy in this group is named Circadian. Okay, now wait, I was looking at this guy. This is the monk in the group, right? Look at this. His alt is Circadian, so they are friends, I guess. I mean, what kind of friend does that? Like, what? That's pretty nuts, man. Like, hey, yeah, what's your character like? Oh, he's wearing a trinket from Wrath of the Lich King? Yeah, let's go do a 17. This would be great. It's actually this guy's group, so that seems to indicate that he intentionally invited 2 tanks, one of whom is his friend with 800,000 health as a Blood Death Knight. Oh, and I could just keep looking the guys up, and it's actually, this guy's in the same guild. Like, they're actually in the same guild. Him and the monk. So it's probably the 3 of them that are friends. For some reason, the guy's like, yeah, all right, you can just come as a tank. It does look like the mage is actually not part of them, though. He was on a Hyjal, so yeah, I don't know if the dude who actually recorded this and sent this to me just got unlucky and just joined some random group that was basically like a hard boost. I've never seen something like this before, man. This is unbelievable. This is something I've never experienced before. People talk about this happening all the time. I'm not staying in a key when somebody's getting boosted. This is literally it. Like, this is the best case you'll find here. This is the first time I've ever had somebody submit this. I still can't believe, like, they had him take it. Like, why is he tank? I don't know why. I mean, honestly, dude, he could probably just actually tank this dungeon. Like, I would love to hear more about how any of this happened, man. This is the wildness of pugging. Some unbelievable moments already this season. It's been truly a unique season. Like, with the ease of the dungeons, it's really exposed some of the bad behavior. We've made a ton of videos on that, on the serious side of things. Now we're back to the funny side. A ton of these I missed because it was like Christmas. I was super sick as well during that time. Thank you guys all for submitting it. Cannot do it without you. Please, I'm begging you, continue to record your runs, especially if you're doing low keys. The hilarity is out there. We just need to find it. We have some other ones that I did not include in this on purpose, and they will be coming too soon. So pay attention. There's going to be some great videos still to come. Otherwise, yeah, keep submitting me this stuff. Best way to do it is email. You could also send me a link in Discord. Whatever's good for you guys is good for me. Thank you again for all the amazing submissions. Thank you all again for watching. We will see you guys in the next video.